your designated prelude? Did you have one?
Do you want one?
We'll just do the welcome. You've been playing for 20 minutes, okay. Good evening. It's not Sunday, don't say the thing. Welcome to the Good Friday service. Some of you, I know, were able to be with us last night for the Maundy Thursday service. It's one of our stars back there in the back who was there. And the kids gave us a beautiful lead into tonight. Tonight is the simplest service of the year and the clearest story. And so we gather together tonight to bear witness once again through our retelling of the story to the passion of Jesus as he is arrested and tried, convicted, and executed. As I've announced several times, we're going to try this a little differently this year. Rather than me doing all of the readings, I will do the first and the last. If you feel so moved, in any given moment, after he's completed playing, after I've extinguished a candle, any of you can come up and read the next reading. Just come up here, read from here, and that's it. And in that way, we will not just bear witness to the story together, but we will retell it together. In the season of Lent, on each Sunday, not last Sunday, we read a statement of faith in worship for reasons. Mostly because the Reverend Mary Luty said, in times such as these, it is all the more important for the progressive church to say clearly and boldly what we believe, because other Christians are saying clearly and boldly what they believe. And we are called to say, not that, but this. A member of the church sent me this a couple of weeks ago because they thought it was cool. And I thought it would go really nicely on our Good Friday service. So I invite you to join me in reading together the words of Dorothy Sola, who was a German theologian who happened to coin the term Christofascism. I believe in God, who created the world not ready-made, like a thing that must forever stay what it is, who does not govern according to eternal laws that have perpetual validity, nor according to natural orders of poor and rich, experts and ignorant, people who dominate and people subjected. I believe in God who desires the counter-argument of the living and the alteration of every condition through our work, through our politics. I believe in Jesus Christ, who was right when he, as an individual who can't do anything, just like us, worked to alter every condition and came to grief in so doing. Looking to him, I discern how our intelligence is crippled, our imagination suffocates, and our exertion is in vain because we do not live as he did. Every day I am afraid that he died for nothing, because he is buried in our churches, because we have betrayed his revolution in our obedience to and fear of the authorities. I believe in Jesus Christ, who is resurrected into our life, so that we shall be free from prejudice and presumptuousness, from fear and hate, and push his revolution onward and toward his reign. I believe in the Spirit, who came into the world with Jesus in the communion of all peoples, and our responsibility for what will become of our earth, a valley of tears, hunger, and violence, or the city of God. I believe in the just peace that can be created, in the possibility of meaningful life for all humankind, in the future of this world of God. Amen. A reading, as they all are tonight, from Luke. Since many have undertaken to set down an orderly account of the events that have been fulfilled among us, just as they were handed on to us by those who from the beginning were eyewitnesses and servants of the word, I too decided, after investigating everything carefully from the very first, to write an orderly account for you, most excellent Theophilus, so that you may know the truth concerning the things about which you have been instructed.
He said to them, "But who do you say that I am?" Peter answered, "The Messiah of God." He sternly ordered and commanded them not to tell anyone, saying, "The Son of Man must undergo great suffering and be rejected by the elders, the chief priests, and scribes, and be killed, and on the third day be raised."
Now the festival of unleavened bread, which is called the Passover, was near. The chief priests and the scribes were looking for a way to put Jesus to death, for they were afraid of the people. Then Satan entered into Judas, called Iscariot, who was one of the 12. He went away and conferred with the chief priests and officers of the temple police about how he might betray him to them. They were greatly pleased and agreed to give him money. So he consented and began to look for an opportunity to betray him to them when no crowd was present.
He came out and went, as was his custom, to the Mount of Olives, and the disciples followed him. When he reached the place, he said to them, "Pray that you may not come into the time of trial." Then he withdrew from them, about a stone's throw, knelt down and prayed, "Father, if you are willing, remove this cup from me, yet not my will, but yours be done." Then an angel from heaven appeared to him and gave him strength. In his anguish, he prayed more earnestly, and his sweat became like great drops of blood falling down on the ground. When he got up from prayer, he came to the disciples and found them sleeping because of grief. And he said to them, "Why are you sleeping? Get up and pray that you may not come into the time of trial."
While he was still speaking, suddenly a crowd came, and the one called Judas, one of the 12, was leading them. He approached Jesus to kiss him, but Jesus said to him, "Judas, is it with a kiss that you are betraying the Son of Man?" When those who were around him saw what was coming, they asked, "Lord, should we strike with the sword?" Then one of them struck the slave of the high priest and cut off his right ear. But Jesus said, "No more of this." And he touched his ear and healed him. Then Jesus said to the chief priests, the officers of the temple police, and the elders who had come for him, "Have you come out with swords and clubs as if I were a bandit? When I was with you day after day in the temple, you did not lay hands on me, but this is your hour and the power of darkness." Then they seized him and led him away, bringing him into the high priest's house.
But Peter was following at a distance. When they had kindled a fire in the middle of the courtyard and sat down together, Peter sat among them. Then a servant girl, seeing him in the firelight, stared at him and said, "This man also was with him." But he denied it, saying, "Woman, I do not know him." A little later, someone else, on seeing him, said, "You also are one of them." But Peter said, "Man, I am not." Then about an hour later, still another kept insisting, "Surely this man also was with him, for he is a Galilean." But Peter said, "Man, I do not know what you are talking about." At that moment, while he was still speaking, the cock crowed. The Lord turned and looked at Peter. Then Peter remembered the word of the Lord, how he had said to him, "Before the cock crows today, you will deny me 3 times." And he went out and wept bitterly.
Then the assembly rose as a body and brought Jesus before Pilate. They began to accuse him, saying, "We found this man perverting our nation, forbidding us to pay taxes to the emperor, and saying that he himself is the Messiah, a king." Then Pilate said to him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" He answered, "You say so."
As they led him away, they seized a man, Simon of Cyrene, who was coming from the country, and they laid the cross on him and made him carry it behind Jesus. A great number of the people followed him, and among them were women who were beating their breasts and wailing for him. But Jesus turned to them and said, "Daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children. For the days are surely coming when they will say, 'Blessed are the barren, and the wombs that never bore, and the breasts that never nursed.' Then they will begin to say to the mountains, 'Fall on us,' and to the hills, 'Cover us.' For if they do this when the wood is green, what will happen when it is dry?" 2 others also, who were criminals, were led away to be put to death with him. When they came to the place that is called the Skull, they crucified Jesus there with the criminals, one on his right and one on his left. Then Jesus said, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing."
The soldiers also mocked him, coming up and offering him sour wine, and saying, "If you are the king of the Jews, save yourself." There was also an inscription over him, "This is the King of the Jews." One of the criminals who were hanged there kept deriding him and saying, "Are you not the Messiah? Save yourself and us." But the other rebuked him, saying, "Do you not fear God, since you are under the same sentence of condemnation? And we indeed have been condemned justly, for we are getting what we deserve for our deeds. But this man has done nothing wrong." Then he said, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." He replied, "Truly, I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise."
It was now about noon, and darkness came over the whole land until 3 p.m, while the sun's light failed and the curtain of the temple was torn in two. Then Jesus, crying in a loud voice, said, "Father, into your hands I commend my spirit." Having said this, he breathed his last. When the centurion saw what had taken place, he praised God and said, "Certainly this man was innocent." And when all the crowds who had gathered there for this spectacle saw what had taken place, they returned home, beating their breasts. But all his acquaintances, including the women who had followed him from Galilee, stood at a distance, watching these things.
Now there was a good and righteous man named Joseph, who, though a member of the council, had not agreed to their plan and action. He came from the Jewish town of Arimathea, and he was waiting expectantly for the kingdom of God. This man went to Pilate and asked for the body of Jesus. Then he took it down, wrapped it in a linen cloth, and laid it in a rock-hewn tomb where no one had ever been laid. It was the day of preparation, and the Sabbath was beginning. The women who had come with him from Galilee followed, and they saw the tomb and how his body was laid. Then they returned and prepared spices and ointments. On the Sabbath they rested, according to the commandment.